Prime Minister, for the last week I've been spending some time down in southern Israel near Sderot, Ashkelon, Ashdod. And the fields are burning down there because of the Molotov cocktails that are being sent over in kites into the fields of Israel. The environment is terrible. Animals are being killed. People having to run to shelters constantly down there. Will there ever be a time, in your opinion, where the people of southern Israel will be able to live comfortably?
Yeah, I think the continued attacks coming from Gaza, sponsored and inspired by Hamas, are intolerable. They ought to be stopped, and at the time that I was Prime Minister, I didn't hesitate to take severe measures in a cast-lead operation in order to stop the shooting of rockets into some of these townships that you have mentioned, Sderot, Netivot, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Beersheba. And it stopped for quite a while. So I think Israel has every right to stop it with measures that might be very uncomfortable. The thought that I have, though, is that this is really a terrorist action by a small group of terrorists in Gaza. I don't think that it really reflects the attitude and the desires of most of the population there. So we have to do two things. On the one hand, we have to take severe military measures to stop and to everyone that tries to make the life of Israelis living in the south intolerable. Every measure. And no one should preach to us for doing what every country ought to do in order to defend its citizens. On the other hand, at the same time, we have to find ways how to separate the small minority of terrorists from the vast majority of the people living in Gaza who might want peace and who might want a better life and quality life because they want to raise their children without being subject to the reprisals that Israel must exercise in order to defend its own citizens. So this is something that has to be worked out. How precisely to do it, I leave it now to the Prime Minister of Israel, but I think that this is what should interest him, and I think that it interests him, on the one hand, to defend the people, and to take military measures, defensive measures, in order to stop these attacks on the fields and on the people. And at the same time, to think how to reach out for those amongst the people, and I believe that they must be the majority of the people living in Gaza, who are sick and tired. In the last weekend, there is a little kid who is a cancer patient from Gaza. She is being treated in Ichilov hospital here, and her father is a young guy without any means, and they are here in the hospital, entirely separated from all of the family and background that live in Gaza because we want to save the life of this daughter. And I called him on a Skype telephone to the hospital and wished him Shabbat Shalom and his daughter, and symbolically hugged them in order to say, look, we fight terrorists and we help human beings.
I'm Earl Cox, and this has been a special report from the office of the former Prime Minister of the State of Israel, Ehud Olmert. For the Christian Coalition, I'm Earl Cox in Israel.